It's probably not even that.
No. This is about as I think this is 246 gigs of data that was on this card.
So it is legit, the size?
At least it's got to be close.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, God. Well, you did the Lord's work for capturing the stuff for us.
Yeah, so I did. Yeah, I ripped it. And instead I updated my Pseudo Saturn Kai. So if you. It was actually pretty easy. So
Yeah.
I'm sure. Have you updated yours?
I think you helped me do my last one. It was
Yeah, I flashed your original because you thought it was dead.
Yeah, I thought I broke it.
You thought you killed the whole thing.
You put Kai. It was because I had a build before Kai on there. You put Kai on there for me.
Yeah.
Because that one was not out yet. But I mean, the dream, of course, is getting away from the optical drive.
Yeah.
Or finally undoing this Polymega and seeing what that disk drive is like. Cesar said he had problems with his.
Yeah.
I'm probably outside the return window now. Maybe not. All right, we got one on YouTube. Welcome, Renee.
I haven't got a go live notification.
I haven't either. Pretty sure it's Renee, unless Cesar has it up.
I don't have it up.
It's Cesar.
Get it up, Cesar.
Get it up. Get it
I
up.
said I have it up.
Oh yeah, he came in with it up.
I'm always up.
Get up, stay up.
I'm watching Richard's favorite streamer on the side because she's doing drops on Call of Duty. So
Who would this be?
the only streamer you ever talk about in certain tubs.
Twitch's favorite streamer.
When you're obsessed with.
She's literally doing drops for a game.
For Call of Duty, yeah. I'm collecting the drop. I just have it on back.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. I didn't think she did any gaming stuff. Like none.
I don't think she's with that dude anymore. So
I did not know she was back to streaming. I forgot about that. Did we talk about that story?
No.
no, we casually ignored it for a reason.
Okay. Yeah, it was bad. There we are. Look at us. Who would have thought?
Oh my god.
I did not know
So I was a little pissed at that from just today.
Yeah, my first impression was that's just a memory card because that's what all the reviews said, and then I reread it and I was like, no, that's it. I'll just wait and see what he says about it because it has the thing in there and it says it comes with it.
Yeah. But
That's why all the reviews are like, it's just a memory card. Do your own work. Get your own ROMs.
yesterday, the light guns and games came, so I played with those. So I'll talk about that. That was a good experience.
I have a mouse too for the Saturn that I got for me and Cesar to play. Cesar, what were we gonna do? Police knots?
Mm-hmm.
You have to
I got
have
tired
a
of
mouse for that?
On actual hardware.
I thought you could do it with a light gun.
I think you do both. I think it has two segments where it's light gun and mouse.
Light gun and mouse.
I mean, not at the same time. That's gaming. Now you're gaming.
The way God intended.
Yes. Try that, PlayStation. There's a PlayStation mouse and a light gun. You could do it on PlayStation. What was the first mouse console? Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo. I mean, unless, well, you're talking about like the Commodore and
Oh, no. It's
shit like that.
PCs.
Yeah.
I believe the Genesis had a mouse. It was like 25.
So it had that giant ring that you could put around your feet and use to control the game.
What was that, the Avenger or something like that? I've seen one of those. I've seen one of those in the box.
Wow.
I believe it was one of our stores.
It's gonna bug the shit out of me. Hold on.
You have one? Brant's breaking out his Genesis pad. The Minisaur was the light gun. I'm trying to think what that pad was. I think it's the Avenger.
It's this copy of Aladdin has a bunch of has all of the original
Got a bunch of hardware ads and stuff in it for it.
game stuff in it. You're close.
Not the Menacer. Activator. Yeah. I was listening to a podcast where they brought that thing to. I can't remember if they were in the press. They were doing something in the press, and they said the demo of it. The guy was like, "Wait till you see how we interact with games," and it never did anything it wanted him to. the whole demo. I was like, "Yep, that's how product demos go." That sounds about right.
I'm surprised they didn't say they couldn't release that because it was too good of a peripheral.
Yeah.
Just kind of like how their VR was too immersive.
Did y'all ever know anybody with the Toys R Us VR thing, that little thing that flipped down over your eyes? Cesar, do you remember that?
No.
There was a kid on the bus that had one. It was like a tiger thing. He had like a Batman Forever game for it, but it still did the red and black Virtual Boy type thing. It's a funky looking VR thing. He had it on the bus.
You should buy it.
Hunt it down. Buy it.
You should buy it.
There's a house. Y'all probably know the house.
Batman Forever house.
Yeah. I still remember his name too, because we rode the bus together for years, because even though we moved houses, we were still in that route. Yeah. He was at the corner of Fielder and 42. Like, there was a house on the right there. That was his brain. You could probably visualize it. That one's been abandoned for a while.
I'm about to say, I was about to say, if it's the one I'm thinking about, that one's just kind of off in the woods now.
Or they took it down.
It's like half. I think one of the walls like caved in.
Half-Life.
His name was John Ryan Screven. I hope he's one of our listeners. John Ryan. All right, y'all ready to rock?
Like Jack Ryan's brother or something.
Hey, Jack Ryan season 3 is in December. I'm very excited. This is a good show. No one shares my enthusiasm.
Let's get going.
Brent's like, let's move along. Let's get this thing going. Brent, talk amongst yourself.
35 minutes of Brant. That's what the episode's called.
Somebody's like, ooh, new NOFODcast episode popped. Oh, 35 minutes of Brant. Delete.
Delete.
Unfollow.
Block.
Or it becomes our
unsubscribe.
Or it becomes our most listened to episode ever, and we have to turn over all the NOFODcast keys to Brant because nobody wants to hear me and Cesar. It's literally the Brant show.
You make it sound like it's a Tom Green show theme song, and there was just Brant's name.
Brant, you're the Justin Timberlake of NOFODcast. The rest of us are just like in the background. You're gonna take off. You're gonna springboard past us on your solo career.
And then refuse to do reunion tours.
Yeah.
Nobody else wants to do it.
Because you're too good for us.
Yeah.
Just pull us up when you make it, Brant. Pull us up so we can get up there with you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 232 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premiere. We're Southeast, South North, Southwest, South. We cover all of it.
East adjacent.
South adjacent?
South adjacent.
South vicinities premier video game podcast. Tonight, PSVR 2 Blowout. We'll probably spend a decent amount of time on that one. Naughty Saturn PS1 game found. Brant, you put that on your you burned that disc yet with your newfound abilities?
No, not yet.
Find out later what that is. What Brant will be streaming next week. EA and Marvel announced 3-game partnership. Could it be Marvel vs. Capcom 4, 5, and 6? Find out later. That's Capcom. That's not even EA. Oh, they made that. Remember Marvel Nemesis? You remember that? Yeah. God, we sold a shit ton of those. Onoma Game Studio comes and goes, in quotations. The answers in that category will feature go as one of the words, one of the answers.
What does PSP go?
What is PSP
and no.
go?
Also no. No was an answer.
NASCAR driver pulls off move he practiced on GameCube. That sounds crazy. And Gory Callisto Protocol to skip Japanese release. I am an American release. My name is Richard Bergman. I'm joined tonight by usual newsmaster Brant McKee. I gave him a week off.
Yeah.
Brant, you worked too hard.
To do it.
You worked too hard, man. We knew we were going to expect 35 minutes of Brant coming up this episode.
Yeah. I went to go
Brant
do the news
monologues.
and it was already done.
Hey.
Brant monologues.
I gave the Brant monologues. Hey, I gave
It
you...
was the best of Brant. It was the worst of Brant.
Oh, it was a dark and stormy Brant. Long time ago in a Brant far, far away. Why are these all like in you or describing you or something?
I was gonna say what?
Brant monologues still got me. Oh man, yeah, I gave you the license to go into the news and edit and add or subtract whatever you wanted to, and you were like, nope, this is good.
Yeah,
You did a decent job, Richard. Thank you for finally getting back to the news. And Cesar Concepcion the second. Cesar almost forgot our resident lore master and page master. He's here. He's drinking a Coke Zero. I am too. Mine is from the fountain of our Lord.
King of Burgers.
Yes.
When I was told I had a 35-minute reprieve, I went down to a local grocery store to buy something to drink.
Only myself and you honor the 35-minute reprieve. A certain individual used it wisely to record.
Play Croc. No, I played Croc.
You played Croc. Okay.
I played Croc.
Yeah, did not use it wisely. 35 minutes of headless Croc.
I chose poorly.
Did you look to see? Because I mean, that's not in the news. Did you look to see if you had the headless Croc version? If you had the Ben's Drown Croc?
Well, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in games played.
This is off topic. Richard, did you ever watch that Nikki Jakey video?
No, I never did. I need to check it out. His stuff is so long and his stuff is so like quick. I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
It's almost like Gridiron Heights, right? Like the kids can't be hollering. I can't be driving. It's got to be focus so I don't miss any of the jokes that come slinging by.
There's also a Croc mention in there.
Seriously?
For a brief
Are
few
you-
minutes, yeah.
What?
Brent, have you ever seen any of this guy's videos? He does a video, Cesar, like every 4 years, it seems like now?
He jokes about it on the latest video. He's like, yeah, just like and subscribe and you'll get a notification once every 10 minutes.
He's very funny, and it's very creative, and it's also informative. Like, he always does a great job with it. But he's usually sitting on, like, a yoga ball. He's, like, bouncing around on one of those,
I think I've seen that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Disney
Yeah.
Channel horses in the background.
Yeah. Okay. I've
green
seen
screen.
this guy.
He introduced Cesar to the Thresher Skate or Die, where the cops are after him with the taser.
Yeah. What the hell is this?
Oh my gosh.
He's good. Those are be fun to have him on a podcast, right? That'd be a character.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the one who started the whole Pizza Hut demo disc.
Yep.
He did a whole episode dedicated to that.
That one was good. Yeah, it's informative, but it's so different than the usual scripted, which I always appreciate, like the deep dives into history and here's where the GameCube was developed. You know, you get this in-depth thing, but he's like wearing glasses and having funny shit go in the background. He's sitting on a yoga ball. He's very entertaining.
So it's the Brand episode because he does talk about Croc and he does talk a good bit about Pepsi Man in there too in this one.
Pepsi Man.
Are-
Pizza
Yeah.
Hut demo disc. This is a man after my own heart.
Is this what you're known for, Brant?
Hell yeah.
Pizza Hut demo discs, Pepsi Man, Croc.
Crash Bandicoot.
You are a resident Croc expert.
I don't know about an expert, but
Enthusiast.
definitely enthusiast.
You've played more than 10 minutes of Croc. I think that qualifies you for the...
The only thing I ever played the full game, I think I just played the demo over and over again on that,
I say,
whatever that PlayStation demo disc
I
was.
feel like I'm in the same boat.
Just doing some Croc research. I think I
Is that a
saw
thing?
some Croc
Okay.
games for the GBA.
Only a Croc expert would say that they are executing Croc research. There's a Game Boy Croc?
Apparently, Game Boy
Croc deep
Advance.
dives.
I gotta hear about the headless one. Speaking of things that go in your head, we now have a price for PlayStation VR 2. We have a release date. We have 2 SKUs. And we got an announcement of like 10 different games, I think it was. PlayStation VR 2 will be available on February 22nd, 2023. So that is 4-ish months away, 3-ish months away. There will be 2 SKUs. One is $549.99. That is the base console. And one is $599.99. And that comes with... Okay, so they both come with PSVR 2 headset, the Sense controllers, and stereo headphones. The $599 VR2 Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle comes with a PlayStation Store voucher code for Horizon Call of the Mountain and the aforementioned headset, Sense controllers, and stereo headphones. Also announced was a $50 VR2 Sense controller charging station. So that frees up, they mentioned specifically that it frees up your console's USB ports. Mm-hmm. They also showed off 10 new games, all of which were previously available in other things, with the exception of, it looks like the spiritual successor to Rush of Blood. What was that subtitle? It was a series. Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, which was something I feel like I showed off to Cesar. Made us. That was one of the first things he had us play in VR when we hooked it up. But I feel like that was something I always demoed for people when they came over. And of course, there's the infamous video of Russell getting the shit scared out of him. Yep. Ah! They were right there in his face, man. He turned around. But that looked good. What are you guys' takes? Cesar, I know in our thread was like he's comparing things to still less expensive than PSVR 2.
If I can somehow buy one now with the Japanese yen crashing as it is, it would be cheaper for me to buy
an import,
$511,
and let it come from there.
And I would almost save me $50. Yeah,
that's significant savings. That's like almost getting the upgraded bundle free, right? Or getting the game with it. Mm-hmm. I still haven't. Obviously, they're trying to make the Horizon game their killer app, right? But we haven't seen enough from it to make it seem like the killer app. To me, to us.
The lack of backwards compatibility is what kills this for me.
VR is already such a niche thing, and like Cesar's saying, the lack of backwards compatibility is a real drawback, especially to those who've already invested in PlayStation's VR ecosystem.
Yeah.
And those games and everything. It's I think there was a couple of the games that were just announced that said they'd have free upgrades, but
yes,
I think the majority of them, because it's based on the developers, I guess, to make that call.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The majority, or at least right now, the majority of the games that have been announced are buy it again. So
yeah,
I mean, Richard, you should appreciate that when this system launches, there's going to be almost as many games that came on the Virtual Boy.
That's a great thing to compare your new platform to. Me personally, as I was looking at the lineup, so many of them were either, as Brant was saying, it would be an upgrade from the PSVR one, but so many are available on the Quest, and I already own that platform, and I don't have to invest another. Honestly, the price was not. We all thought it was going to be higher than this, or did we all settle on like $599? Is that what we came down to?
I figured it was going to be this much, but I wanted it to be like $499 or less.
It was really hoping it would be $499.
We were hoping,
but having it be more expensive than the thing you actually need to run it is another one of those things.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa.
What's crazy to me is they're gonna make like 2 million of these things.
They are.
They're supposed to be making a whole bunch of them. It's a crazy thing. They're gonna. I mean.
And pre-orders open up November 15th. Did I read that date right? I don't think I saw it in the blog post just now, but I think I remember that date.
They want you to sign up on.
Cesar, did you?
I did not.
I did. I caved.
You did?
I mean, it's an invite to have the chance to.
Yeah.
It's a step to you buying it and then complaining about it when it comes out. Like, what are they?
No, because I'm with you guys. That there's just not that killer app, and I think by the time I got into the original PlayStation VR, like. I've told this story before, but when I got one, Cesar came and helped us set it up, because that first one, you almost need like a proctor, right? You need someone to, all right, the goggles are on now, because you can't see through them like you're going to be able to on this one, or you can the Quest. Like, all right, here's your controllers. I'm going to put it, there's one to the right, there's one to the left. All right, now center yourself. There's a little bit more setup involved, and it was great having Cesar like put us through the paces and get us used to like finding the VR legs and stuff. But there were so many, like, there was 2 demo discs by that point, and so much of that library was accessible then. So I got in behind the curve where it's like, okay, I can try these games out for $10 a piece or whatever it was, and still get some of the newer stuff coming out. But right out of the rips. Like, without that stuff being backwards compatible, like you guys were mentioning, it's kind of tough, especially for people that have been in the ecosystem. You got all those new PS5 owners. Maybe that's like the whole concept of like people never played this before, like Last of Us again. So many people didn't have a PS3. We can release Last of Us Remastered on PS4 a year after that one came out. That sort of thing. The tech is so exciting, and that's what is driving my curiosity. Is because I saw that MetaQuest Pro specs and things like that. It just has like LCDs in it. And these are OLEDs that you're looking at. And it just and they still have like the eye tracking and everything that's in that $1,500 headset. So there's that conundrum of maybe if I saw it and just messed around with it, I would get my fix. Like, I don't need this. I've seen what it's like. Or it would be, oh god, I gotta have one of these now. It could go two ways.
I mean, there's so many standard PSVR games I still need to play. I would have preferred to have backwards compatibility, because then I would have.
Exact same.
Oh no,
whatever. And then one I've been holding out on was Iron Man. I got myself and my brother a copy 2 years ago, I think 2 Christmases ago, and now that's on Quest. We talked about it last week. They brought that to the Quest. Quest.
I mean, right now, Russell's winning, not buying any new PlayStation game consoles. So
he is. He's holding out. I keep sending him. I sent him that God of War Ragnarok one today. I was like, go get it.
He can still play God of War Ragnarok on PS4. So I'm like,
yeah, he could.
He's like my coworker. My coworker's like, at this point, I'm not buying anything until they force me to buy it when they put the actual games that run on it.
That actually makes sense, because you can get by with it for most of their things. Even Gran Turismo.
Yep. I think the only thing is Brant McKee's Returnal. That's the only thing you can't play.
Returnal, Ratchet and Clank. I know the
Brant McKee's Ratchet and Clank.
The joke is Brant McKee's Ratchet and Clank. 20-year-old Brant McKee's 20-year-old. No, Stray's on both.
I don't think.
Yeah, Stray's on both.
Yeah.
Because the joke is still like, it still works that they call it PlayStation 5 because there's 5 exclusive games on the PlayStation 5.
Pretty much.
Do I own any of the exclusives outside of Ratchet and Clank? Oh,
I just have Returnal.
Demon Souls. Brant McKee's Demon Souls.
Brant McKee's Demon Souls. Yeah.
Brent, you might be able to pull this off because there was all those American McGee. That's a little bit different spelling, but you could confuse people.
Yes, a little bit.
Brant McKee's Alice 3. They'd be like, oh shit, I remember those first two.
I can't think anything else that's like you said. I'm having a hard time thinking as native PS5 only. Yeah.
And
I'm sure there's some.
I was thinking about this earlier because I sent y'all that Dreamcast ad because I was flipping through. I've been buying old video game magazines. If I find a lot that's like semi-decently priced, and this EGM article or this EGM one that I was flipping through recently is March 2001. So you've got like the Dreamcast is like going out, but it's not officially going out, and everybody's raving about their library. Even the editors of EGM are like, the Dreamcast is full of amazing games. And I just remembered like the GameCube. If you just had a GameCube, or like us, we just had a 64, there were such like gaps of when stuff came out. You were just waiting for new releases, and that hasn't been Nintendo since. Well, they did it with the Wii U, but there was only like 10 million Wii U's out there. But it seems like, and this isn't a PS5 thing, it's an Xbox thing too. There's these exclusives that we're used to getting out of the gate with like a new console or new release, and like this lineup. We always talk about that fall 2001 PS2 lineup when the Xbox and the GameCube were about to come out. They had Final Fantasy X, Ace Combat 4, Baldur's Gate. It was like this Silent Hill 2, Devil May Cry. It was this crazy lineup of games. Gran Turismo 3, and we just don't have, like, we're not getting that with these consoles, and I think that's why it feels a little flat to me.
Mm-hmm.
But Russell's like, nah, I want to play Ratchet and Clank, and that's the only thing I can't play on PS4, so he's on to something.
I mean, I'm looking at this list right here. Someone got a list up here for PS5 only games, and there's only 5 games.
See, it still fits. And I heard that joke like a year ago.
Demon Souls, Destruction All Stars, Returnal, and Ratchet and Clank.
What was the first two? I was laughing.
Astro's Playroom and Demon Souls.
Okay.
Destruction All Stars.
Astro's Playroom.
Returnal.
Astro's Playroom is an incredible game, and it comes with the PS5. I'll give them that.
Yeah, cost you $500 to play that game, or $3.99.
It was $500. Did I get it? I got it. Did I get it at Target? No, the Target one's still riding around on the truck. I got the Walmart one.
2 years? 2 years on the
2
truck?
years on the truck.
Should be the 2-year anniversary soon for being on the truck, right?
Yeah, but this is their last year to keep up with that FIFA Ultimate Team that they keep putting them on PS5. That's about to switch licenses. I guess they're just going to call it EA Sports Ultimate Team now.
Yeah, EA Soccer, probably.
Yeah. Next up, this comes from VideoGamesChronicle.com and Chris Scullion. Sega's lost erotic FMV thriller has been found and shared online 25 years later. This really excited me not for that reason.
Erotic reasons.
Yeah, erotic thrilling reasons. Is because it was developed for PlayStation also. I was like, what? The Sacred Pools prototype can now be played on Saturn, PlayStation, and PC. Talk to Brant after the show about how to get this running on your Sega Saturn. He will help you.
Brant is the Sacred Pools expert.
Yeah, just that game. Sega was set to release the Sacred Pools in 1997, but ultimately chose to cancel the project after it was met with negative reception from press at E3 96. However, game preservation site Gaming Alexandria, I've never heard of them, has now found and shared downloadable prototypes of the PC, Saturn, and PlayStation versions of the game. The latter is perhaps the most interesting because it may mark the first instance of Sega developing a game for the PlayStation, which of course was a rival console at the time. The Sacred Pools was developed by SegaSoft, a studio which was formed in 95 to replace Sega of America's development group with the aim to release games for all platforms, but would ultimately only end up releasing games for the Saturn and PC.
It's like that damn Sony Aniplex who releases a whole bunch of shit for other consoles.
Mm-hmm. And I remember they were always like in the budget section of Walmart's PC games where you would see like the Sonic Collection, and they were putting out the PC stuff later on.
Oh, here you go, Richard. Brant sent me the link to the website. It's on the archive.org.
Okay. You can go straight to archive.org. I believe that works on all of our work PCs, so we can go ahead and start downloading that tomorrow.
Yeah. I have a Polymega it works on, so.
It's a Sega game. I don't understand. It's no big deal. Can you talk your way out of that? It's an FMV game. Depending on who you're talking to, they may not know what it is.
It's a training video.
Oh boy. The game reportedly had a budget of $3 million, which was enormous at the time, and made use of what SegaSoft called VNRS technology, virtual navigation in real space, which seamlessly joined together FMV clips to make it look like the player was moving through 3D worlds without pausing to load the next clip. Oh, they've got video on here.
Yeah, it's a weird little video.
What else was like that?
There's nothing spicy in that video.
Yeah, I'm assuming they wouldn't put anything like that on there.
No.
But there was a bunch of games where you would go down hallways like that, and it would be exploratory movies. I'm surprised that, 95, I was going to say, this kind of got Sega CD written all over it, but the Sega CD wouldn't have been able to...
It really does.
It wouldn't have been able to load and continuously do all that stuff.
Don't worry, Richard. I'm downloading a copy now. I can look at it later.
Oh, where's she going? I see some spiciness. It's not super spicy.
No, it's not very spicy.
It's probably very exaggerated.
I would probably assume that it's got to be in the same spiciness vein as Plumbers Wear Ties.
Yeah.
Gaming Alexandria says it's no more cheesy than any other FMV games Sega put out, like Night Trap, Wirehead, or Surgical Strike. It's an interesting note. Love that it was being developed for PlayStation. That was like my favorite part of that story. I was like, hey, so people are out there preserving the games that we didn't hear about, even the naughty ones. All right, somebody tell me about this EA Marvel 3-game deal that is not Marvel vs. Capcom. It might be Marvel Nemesis.
There's really not much to this. It was just announced earlier this week that EA is teaming up with Marvel to produce 3 games. Of course, we already knew about the Iron Man game that they are working
the Motive Studio one.
Talked about that. Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
The people behind Star Wars Squadrons. And Dead Space, right? They're doing the Dead Space remake.
Yes. But literally the article just quotes and saying that Marvel will be working on EA and Marvel will be working together on at least 3 new action adventure games for console and PC. Of course, we already know about the Iron Man game. Each of these games will be their own original stories and set in their Marvel universe. And other than that, we don't know much about them.
Was one of those the Amy Hennig game? Where did she end up at?
No,
Skybound.
She's at Skybound.
And they're doing
that Black Panther, Captain America.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they had something to do with Marvel. So Marvel's like spread that license out now. It's not stuck with.
Yeah, they've kind of
almost like Star Wars, where Star Wars was stuck with EA. Yeah.
They're kind of moving it around a little bit. But I mean, as far as superhero video games are concerned, I mean, obviously, we've got Insomniac doing the Spider-Man games, which are amazing.
Right.
And they're working on a Wolverine game.
Yep, so, we saw a snippet of that.
Good job, Brent. Good job, Brent, on the adjective. Amazing.
Very well. Wolverine Simulator?
No, Spider-Man games, amazing. Which are amazing.
Infamous.
But what else? I mean, what else do we want to see? I mean, they obviously Square Enix had their try at an Avengers video game, which kind of flopped.
Yeah. We don't hear anything about that thing anymore.
No. Along with the Guardians of the Galaxy game, though, which was actually really good.
I know you enjoyed it. What is
I don't know.
Skydance? Oh, Skydance has a bunch of different stuff. It's movies and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're the Walking Dead people.
They did the new Top Gun.
Or Skybound, excuse me.
Skybound. Oh, yeah. Okay. I typed in the wrong thing. I was like, what else do they do? It's Skybound, not Skydance.
So I don't know if, maybe they would do some kind of thing on the mutants or Daredevil or Doctor Strange or what else, or what those might look like, because they obviously are staying in that same action adventure vein. I know, and I think even this article talks about how Disney seems to be not necessarily shopping that around, but kind of spreading out that IP. How we're getting Midnight Suns it got delayed again, but that's at least the closest release with the Marvel IP coming up. So I don't know. I'd be interested to see exactly what they do. Any specific superheroes you can think that you want to see, Cesar?
At this point, it doesn't matter, I don't think. I mean, I don't know what they can do anything at this point. Who knows?
As long as it sells, right?
Yeah, as long as
they'll keep
story
doing
tells, yeah.
But, right.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, I mean, I at this point, I'm just waiting for them to make announcements. So,
I know. Really, I'm just in anticipation for Spider-Man 2. So,
they'll probably
ramped it up.
Probably on PS4.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, it will be. After that, what was it? Was it Herman Helst? Is his name?
Yeah.
I mean, he said it was we're still going to be making PS4 games for the foreseeable future and PS5 games.
Yeah.
So it's going to be on PS4. All right. Another news, we had another studio that went down. The recently named Onoma, or some people mentioned on Twitter, and dropped the A and moved the O to the end. No Mo. It's being shut down. The developer was formerly known as Square Enix Montreal and was purchased by Embracer this summer. They were just renamed 3 weeks ago, I think they said. Less than a month. It was like beginning of October. And said to be working on something. Whatever they were working on was closed. It was in early development. I guess they didn't see what they like over there in Bracer. I think they were going to allocate some of their workers and move them over into, was it Crystal Dynamics?
Yeah.
Then they clarified that the other studios, which I think is it just Crystal Dynamics now? Is that all they have now? Crystal Dynamics, Eidos,
Eidos Montreal.
Montreal. I think they're both, and they clarified they're both assisting with Xbox franchises, and as well as I think Montreal's working on a Deus Ex sequel, or just not a sequel, just a Deus Ex game, which is
very early
in development. Yep. So I mean, this is the first time we've seen something from that the Embracer Group has cut off. So it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, hopefully these people will find jobs. I know it kind of sucks that they had to lose their gigs.
Yeah, I know they said they were shuffling some of them, but they did confirm that some 200 jobs will be affected by the closure, and it's publishing QA team and studio Onoma. So, or no more.
I don't remember them being renamed. Like we didn't really.
That just
yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
sucks.
So the two Microsoft games they're working on was Fable and
Perfect Dark. Yeah.
Yes.
So somebody had theorized that what they're going to end up going to happening is that they're probably going to sell those two studios to Microsoft. So at some point, they're raising their value. So the whole thing is they pay $300 million for everything and a bunch of IPs, and they're just going to pawn these studios off once they show them some value. So that's the theory going around, at least.
Gotcha.
All right, Richard, you're probably going to have to explain this one because I remember hearing it in passing.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not a portrayer of the cars.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot of like the reason that it happened.
Whole lot of left turns.
Okay. This comes from Polygon.com and ONS Good. This was all over the place. Like it was like one of the top plays on SportsCenter when I was watching for the day. NASCAR driver pulls off crowd-stunning wall ride he learned on the GameCube. And since then, it's been confirmed. Benja Edwards on Twitter showed that you could do it on NASCAR 05. He did the Lord's work and tried it out for us. So he had to, does it say it's an elimination playoff? Okay. Stock car driver Ross Chastain on Sunday pulled off a desperate slingshot pass of 5 cars on the last lap, rocketing from 10th place to 5th in the Xfinity 500 and barely staying alive in NASCAR's Elimination Playoff Series. Chastain later told pit reporters that the move came straight from his childhood Nintendo GameCube. So essentially, as they're coming around this final quarter turn of the race, and I do not follow NASCAR, so if you're yelling at the whatever you listen to us on, because you listen to us on everything and watch us, so everyone has to brake, right, to slow down, to make that turn, and everybody's like in a line, that kind of thing. This dude was like, fuck it, and went in the wall and just let the wall like guide him all the way around like a slingshot, but he never had to like, he didn't have to brake and join ranks with the other people because he knew he wasn't gonna be able to get ahead, right? You're kind of in the pack. So definitely watch this video. I'm not describing it super well, but he flies around the edge of the track, and it's a totally legal move. It ate up the front side of his car, like that whole panel and everything. He is riding the wall. I think he said he let go of the steering wheel at some point, like he lined it up right, and you just let it carry you through. And he qualified for whatever it was. Like it worked. It was something he wanted to do, or was able to pull off and needed to do. And the interview right after that, like, how'd you do that? He's like, I used to do it on the GameCube on NASCAR. I think that one's called Chase for the Cup or something.
05. Yeah, NASCAR 05.
Chase for the Cup on my Nintendo GameCube. And I'm like, damn, I sold that game. It's been a long time. But it was very cool. Did you watch the video, Brant?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. The article goes on to note, it's important to note this happened at Martinsville, Virginia, which is NASCAR's shortest track and whose nicknames The Paperclip and Half Mile of Mayhem speak to the necessity of such white-knuckle gambles to get a result there. You can't really do what Chastain did at a 2-mile superspeedway. In other words, simply because the corners are too long and the cars carry a lot more speed into them. The quote was, Chastain told NBC that, I just hoped I didn't catch the turn 4 access gate, whatever that is. That is, slam into a concrete divider while going flat out. The explanation was right there. But I was willing to do it, Chastain said. He said he played a lot of NASCAR 2005 on GameCube with his brother Chad. They would have been 11 and 6 years old, respectively, when that game launched. And I absolutely spend my NASCAR time turning around and going backwards, going against traffic whenever I'm forced to play a NASCAR game. So them figuring out that you could get into the walls and speed up a little bit is definitely something two brothers playing a NASCAR game would figure out, right? At 11 and 6.
Yeah.
I could just...
And then, Richard, you bring up a good point. Nobody's done Traffic Simulator yet. We need that game.
Traffic Simulator?
Yeah, just sit in traffic all day.
Oh. They won't even give us the trucking one. Aren't we still waiting for that trucking game?
I don't know, man. I'm all down for Traffic Simulator. That way people can feel my pain.
I'd rather not. Yeah. I don't miss traffic.
Feel my pain.
I'd rather not. Is that all from that story? It was very cool, and
Yes.
it shocked everybody. And
Yes, we agree. Everything's great on Traffic Simulator.
no, not Traffic Simulator. The slingshot. And it fell into my circle. I mean, I saw it on SportsCenter, but it fell into my circle because everybody's like, he mentioned the GameCube, and GameCube was trending on Twitter. I'm like, why is GameCube trending? Because this guy said he played NASCAR 05 and used it to sling himself around the walls. So very cool.
Into traffic.
Into traffic. Traffic Simulator. Last but not least, this comes from Ollie Welsh at Polygon. The Callisto Protocol proves too violent for Japanese censors. Developer withdraws Japanese release after failing to reach compromise with ratings body Zero. The post reads, the Callisto Protocol has decided to stop the release of the Japanese version. As of now, the Zero rating cannot be passed. We have decided that we would no longer be able to provide you with the experience you need. We hope everyone in Japan will understand. If you've already pre-ordered, we will refund you. Trying to see if there's an actual solution to this somewhere. They go on to mention...
Import it,
do what now?
Pretty much.
Huh?
Import it.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there...
The Japanese just have to import it, really, if they want it.
Is it still hard to... Because I haven't messed with any alternate region storefronts on a PlayStation console in a while. Is it easy to flip-flop between... Like, you can't just register a US account and download that? Or would it would be tied...
Create a separate whole PSN.
Okay, it would be
account.
tied to that PSN user, so you wouldn't have your trophies.
Nintendo has the easiest system to change region.
Wow. I didn't think of it that way. They've actually done that pretty well, haven't they?
Because I can literally, and I've done so myself, is bought visual novels in the Japanese eShop and then switch back to the American store, and then I can read down them all from the American store. Don't you have to go back in the Japanese store anymore. It just ties it to my account. So.
I famously bought that Mexican version of Shovel Knight at launch that was $16 cheaper than ours or something.
Yeah.
It was drastic. It was like 8 versus 24 or something. You remember?
I was about to say that bastard version of Alan Wake did that too, just a couple weeks
Did
ago.
it?
It was down to like 20-something cents or,
Mhm.
or something. Or a couple dollars. It was something
It's
ridiculous.
crazy.
Which most people would probably say that that's even still too much to pay for that version of the game.
I don't know, man. I'll give money to that before I give money to Kingdom Hearts Cloud version. So.
Where's Cloud
Yeah.
Whew. Get a PS3 and play those on at this point, right? Or PS4. Are PS4s able to be found, or are they still scarcity?
Yeah, they're not in stores.
They're still
anymore.
Fortnite machines. So Japanese gamers will have to import physical copies of Callisto Protocol.
Pretty much.
That's it, gentlemen. Let's load up on the pre-orders and start shipping them over there.
Unless somebody's smart and the publisher region block stuff. Like there's certain things I can't buy from Amazon Japan because it's been region blocked for the United States.
Oh, they don't even want you getting it.
You can't buy it in this region, yeah, because I sat there and spent money on buying One Piece episodes on Blu-ray because they got them all in one collection, and then they sell them separately over here, like $20 a disc for the DVDs, and I can buy the whole set for like $100. And they're like, you can't buy this here, and I have to like go through 85 different channels just to get the damn Blu-ray release.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, because you
Like,
could.
I had to go swim through.
Because you could. I mean, you're learning Japanese, but you could change the language on a multi-layer Blu-ray disc and be fine.
Well, all right, Ultra Blu-rays are not region locked whatsoever. I can buy an American film from France. I've done so because there's some Ultra Blu-rays that have been released in Europe that have not been released over here for certain movies. DVDs used to be region locked, where 1 was North America and 2 was Japan.
Yeah.
And South Africa, and some other weird places, which was weird. Blu-rays, Japan and America are region locked in the same region. So they do what they call soft locking on the American releases, because the American releases are way cheaper than the Japanese ones, and they don't want the Japanese people to order American release, which also includes
the same language packs.
Yeah. To block them from ordering stuff. So like that happens sometimes when you try to buy stuff from different regions. Either the realtor will block you or they'll soft block you on the actual disc. Where it's not supposed to be region locked, but they do like a soft lock or something like that. It's weird. It's only on the disc. So
I read a crazy thing in some of my Xbox research recently. You know the DVD adapter that you plug into the original Xbox, that little puck thing? Because it didn't play DVDs with the controller. You had to have the little adapter.
Yeah, the remote control thing.
So if you popped in it was still region 1, maybe it was region 2, like you were explaining with the Japanese DVDs. It would write your DVD ROM software on the Xbox to that region. So it wouldn't let you play import games, but it would be locked to that DVD region. So a lot of people did that for the Xbox as a import DVD player, essentially, that just soft wrote that to the BIOS. It's crazy to me that it could do that. I'm hearing some weird feedback. Do y'all hear me at all? Hearing like soda crackling? It's just me.
No.
Yeah, you sound fine. You just probably get the soda in your ears.
I've drank enough soda. I'm drinking enough soda today for it to be in my ears. All right, that's news. Is that all we got?
Yep.
Thank you for coming to
well done, not Brant.
DVD Blu-ray Talk. 35 minutes of Brant news.
This is a Brant episode.
That was Richard news.
Yeah,
that was Richard news.
Well done, not
Short
Brant.
and sweet.
Yeah. Damn.
Wait, did I hit record? Would that scare y'all?
Yeah.
Yes, it says.
It is
I just would have hung up the call.
You would have been out. 35 minutes SSR.
Going to bed.
I'll touch quick on games played and a couple other things I dabbled with. I've been speaking in the past couple weeks about that Insignia project, like the new Xbox Live that's coming.
Every time you say Insignia, I'm thinking of that Best Buy.
That's always the joke, the Insignia.
TV. Yeah, I can't.
Or Dynex. Project Dynex. Well, I always Google Project Insignia because I think that's what I read it as last. And there's something else. There's some other game called Project Insignia. And then if you search for like Insignia Xbox, you get, here's how to get this rank in Call of Duty. Here's how to get this banner or whatever. Like it actually does Insignia. So I'm like, no, that's not what I'm after. So there was I think last week I had spoke about, they were getting ready to release another patch because when some people were going through this registration to sign their Xbox up for the Insignia, not Best Buy, service, they were getting like, console is already registered with it and stuff like that, which they'd never, it's brand new. There's no way they did that. So I kind of waited. They sent out an update disc, and the two systems I have to test on that are hard modded, those were the ones I was going to wait and do because I still have yet to ever soft mod an Xbox. So that's something I'll be dabbling with soon and using one of these registration discs for. Because I've got all the stuff for it. I've got like the USB adapter that goes in the controller slot, and I've got Splinter Cell. I've got all the little ones you have to use for that soft mod. But so I've got my own hard modded one, and I popped the disc in, and it immediately like came up with the Insignia registration and all that stuff. I think I sent you guys pictures of that. Yes. And I hardwired it to my my modem down, or my mesh router down here. And it's fun because my router will tell me when a new device connects. And it immediately sent me a notification that says Microsoft connected to your network. And I was like, this is awesome. This Xbox is online. Like how it's been 12 years. I think they pulled the plug in 2010. Does that sound right? 2010, 2011? Yeah. And so that Xbox is online. And it, as soon as I hit the registration thing, you don't see any code running. It's a very nice interface. And it says it took about 10 seconds, and I got a thing that said your Xbox is registered for Insignia. So I'm waiting for the go live, and they're gonna keep announcing. That's another thing they tweeted. They're gonna keep announcing more games. So I think it's every Monday they're gonna announce more games that are gonna be coming to the service. I did the same with friend of the show Jeremy's Xbox. It did the exact same thing. Went straight through, and he or one of his brothers apparently named that Xbox Manny. So I saw it literally as it popped up on my network. It's like, Manny has connected. I'm like, yes, it's online again. Here it is. So that was pretty cool. I'm trying to burn some games, some backup copies, onto his hard drive that I legally own copies of, so that we can do certain online things. Like the first Call of Duty for consoles, Finest Hour, is one of the games. So I think it'd be fun to have an online Call of Duty on the original Xbox Live, as we've got Modern Warfare 2, the second iteration, and we're on, what is this, the fourth Xbox console generation now? Kind of, 3.5. But I think that's going to be cool. And then Phantasy Star Online is one of the games that's going to be available when that service launches. And that,
finally,
yeah, unless you were using like X-Link Kai or something, that disc has been a coaster, because unlike the GameCube, when you can't play it offline, it's that disc requires online connection and a live server. And even at that, you had to have a Xbox Live profile on your Xbox before it would even like recognize on X-Link Kai. So there were a whole bunch of hoops people would have to jump through to play that game. And now it's just going to be, if you have an Insignia Xbox, just pop and play. So my next update will either be playing some of those games or trying out the soft mod and seeing how that goes. So if you guys want in on the loop, I can't wait to test some of that stuff out. It's just exciting to me. I missed that first online wave. It's like I was too cool for it. Like, I'm just going to play couch co-op. Why would I go online for something? People are right here. But then you get older and people move away, and like it's become a big way for me to connect with people and just stay in touch and be a social type thing, which we talk about all the time on the podcast. Played.
Do you have the microphone that plugs into your?
Yeah, the little adapter thing. I've read various things. Like people in the threads are saying, I'm gonna buy it was called the Xbox Communicator. I'm gonna buy the communicator and this, that, and the other. And I've also seen where they said that those features don't work. So yeah, so I don't know the exact. It again, and I talked about it last week, but I'm deeper down this wormhole. Just as a reminder, it's most of the Xbox Live stuff used like peer-to-peer connections. There wasn't a main server that you would connect to. It was basically co-op, but split screen, local, but everybody had their own screen and Xbox, that sort of thing. So you didn't really need these. That's why Halo 2 is not coming, because they had big server support and all these type things that they haven't fleshed out yet. They haven't built those. So they do say Halo 2 is coming. I know that's what everybody's got circled on their playlist, but the list is growing. They've added some that are going to have leaderboards. They're not necessarily online, but there's like 2 Cabela Big Game Hunter titles that have online leaderboards. So I might like try to. I've got both of them. I might pop them in and see if I can take down like a bear or something and be on the leaderboards. Look, I'm number 1 in the world on original Xbox. Until somebody finds me that actually had the record back in the day. That's my Insignia update. The new disc works, and it's a DVD-ROM that I wrote to, so I've got that disc. If ever you guys are wanting to do that project, people are sending me stuff. It's going off nonstop. What's happening? Is there anything crazy happening in the world right now?
I don't know.
Nothing sports-wise really going.
I don't know. I have to pull up something here.
Played Brant's potential game of the year, Overwatch 2. I hear he's gung-ho on some Overwatch 2. Our usual Halo crew, not just including Brant, but a lot of people did not appear. Was that Saturday? Play Saturday? And so everyone had Overwatch downloaded because Cesar was like, Brant's playing a lot of Overwatch. We got to download it. So I had already sent it to my Xbox. And I played the tutorial. The movement's fine. The shooting's good. And then we did like a deathmatch, like 4v4, 5v5, whatever it is. And I was like, I have no clue what's happening. This is not going well for me. It's just like people pointing, and it was like watching a LARPing competition where people are just like pretending to do stuff. And I'm like, there's like hands flying all over the place. This one lady was after me with this purple shit, and if I was in like line of sight, the purple shit was like, huh? Yeah, this purple shit was like following me around. I'm like, I can't run from this. I'm just gonna die. And I'm trying to run from it, and she's like keeping that purple shit on me. So then we, because friend of the show Jeremy and friend of the show Dale have played a good bit more of this than I have apparently. So there's a new like Halloween thing. It's like Dr. Junkenstein or something. And so they're telling me, they're like, this is kind of like horde mode. We haven't beat it yet, but this might be more of the right, like learn the weapons, that sort of thing. And that was a lot of fun. It was very much like horde. You had these like random bosses show up, and the titular Dr. Junkenstein was, it's the right word, Cesar. We're not back to your Saturn FMV game here. It's close to it, though. And
I don't even, what'd you say?
I don't even know anymore. Dr. Junkenstein. We killed him.
No, I didn't know what we're talking about. I'm
Overwatch 2.
looking at look at something else came up on my screen.
Your drops? Your hot tub drops?
No.
So we died twice or three times, and it varies. It's like horde. There's random patterns to the enemies, and is this where like the lanes? I would listen to podcasts and they're talking about lanes in games. Is that where that comes from? Where there's like a rampart and the enemies are coming there, and there's like a castle gate in the middle. They're coming out of there, and then a right side where enemies are coming out of like a door or something. Is that where that terminology comes from? Because it was kind of, yeah, I've never played one of these, so it's like it was fun to like split up amongst the three different lanes, if that's what those are, and like cover with abilities, and as you get hits on an enemy, you build up like a special. So then we would coordinate online, talking like, okay, I can take my special, or there's a boss coming, I'll save it for that sort of thing. That coordination was a lot of fun. And Dale was like this dwarf character with a turret. And we put that turret thing up on the rampart, and it just did work. It was mowing people down. So I'm like, a couple times I killed a boss with my special. I'm like, I'm going to get to play the game, because I think that's a pretty cool thing with this title. I'm like, I'm going to get to play the game. It was always Dale standing behind that damn turret, just like the turret's doing work, and then he's like to the left of it doing work. So, I mean, it got the job done. It's a fun team thing. I really like the horde. The team deathmatch was so off-putting, and maybe that's just putting more time into it or going through unlocking more characters. Because the first guy I got throws like ninja stars. Genji. It was the PS2. Yep. It was the PS2 and PS3 series. It was the giant enemy crab character. No, he's like a ninja in here throwing stars, and I could line up headshots and stuff on the controller and was doing fine with it. But the team deathmatch was not my jam. Maybe I just have to practice more at that. But
there's different things too. You get ones where there's just different objectives where you have to push a payload or do different other things. So
okay, that was the one I came in on because they invited me in and they were already running that one and they were trying to push something somewhere.
Well, you'd have to play. I can't remember. It's like because you have to unlock the rest of the game modes.
Like Splatoon. I think I remember you saying that.
And I can't remember if it's like 5 or 10 plays, but you eventually get the arcade play, and there's different game modes that cycle out through there.
Okay.
And one of them, there's like a regular CTF, and there's like a CTF Blitz. And the capture the flags were pretty fun.
Are they?
There.
Yeah. I could see that being good with those characters, because that purple shit, I mean, that would be a great defense character, because it follows you everywhere. Like, even if you get the flag, that thing's whooping your ass. I could never beat that person. If I saw them, like, if that's where we were headed, I'd just, like, turn around and go back the other way. You do seem to spawn, and this is the first Overwatch I've ever played. And you seem to spawn, like, really far back from everything. It's like, all right, let me run for 10 minutes to get close to the action. But it plays really well. It looks great. My complaints is my lack of experience. The Junkenstein, the Horde mode was awesome. Hey, did you beat that, Brant? Did you run through that on something?
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
The original Junkenstein, I mean, it's been around since the first Overwatch.
Okay.
And then the latest one was that newer, the Bride's Revenge or something.
The son of Junkenstein. I get I've seen these Overwatch characters throughout games media for the past 5 or 6 years, and I see the different type, almost like seems like Apex borrowed a lot from that with giving these characters backgrounds and lore and making you like care about the characters. This is just a shooter with skins, right? But there seems to be a lot to that universe and stuff. Are they going to do? Is it going to be like a movies cartoon type thing?
Oh, I mean, if you go to their YouTube, there's certain characters have like full length animated shorts.
Okay, so they're already doing that type of thing.
That are like introductions or little portions of their backstory or things like
Yeah.
that. So.
I laughed at the podcast you were on where you were talking about not being able to get into games and stuff like that. I was laughing at that and thinking about that, and I didn't seem to have any issues, or they cleared that up. Yeah. I'll get back into it with. I didn't delete it. I didn't block, mute, unfollow, delete, uninstall, unplug my Xbox, go back to original Xbox. I didn't do all that with it. I think it'll be cool with us. It seems like we get in these weird times with Halo, and I don't know if people are falling off because it's boring or they're not adding anything, or like when we play Old Man Halo, when we want to play that, it's not big team battle, it's 4v4. So as soon as that 5th or 6th person jumps online, you don't want to like, hey guys, you mind if we keep
forced into big team?
Yeah, hey guys, you mind if we keep playing this, or we switch to this one and do big team, which people may not be in the mood for. But I think 5 people is kind of how some of our parties break down. This might be a good game to slot into that rotation and have installed, because it seems like they support them forever until the new one comes out and they wipe the other one away. But
yeah.
Yep, that was my week. A little Old Man Halo, a little Insignia, not Best Buy brand project, getting the original Xbox Online, and some Overwatch 2. Give it to us, Cesar.
We're gonna start. Played a little bit of Bayonetta 3.
All right.
Like 4 or 5 hours into it. It's a Bayonetta game, man.
Looks good. Performs well.
Tomate. It's like I said, it looks slightly better than Bayonetta 2. They go a little bit more open world in this one, where you load up in the areas, and there are sections where you can do different things, where you get pulled into another world and compete for upgrades for your health and magic and whatnot. And oh god, I'm trying to do without getting into the story here, but I mean, it plays like a Bayonetta game. I mean, there are some slight improvements where you can summon the monsters now without having to do a full set combos or at QTE events and control them as well. That gives you something a little bit extra. But I haven't played that much of it. I think the whole I guess selling point in that game is in the story. It's like the multiverse. Multiple worlds are being combined under one, and you're trying to stop it. You started out in the beginning as one of the Bayonettas, which looks like the original one, where their world is destroyed, and there is a traveler of the multiverse. She jumps over into the current one on there and is trying to get Bayonetta to save it.
I think that
you got to collect these.
There was mention of that.
Dials.
There was a mention of that with all the voice actress stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got to get these time dials for the final boss battle, and so what she's been doing is she has to go to an Umbra temple, which allows her to jump into different points of the multiverse, to different planets, and do different battles at different locations. So, like the very first level, I'm in Tokyo right now. And I think their second one is like France or something like that. So they go to these different environments where you do different things.
Do you get to choose? Do you get to choose the order of those?
Mm-mm. Everything is linear.
Okay.
On the choices follows a set story. So
is that a good change? Is that a good change to like bounce the settings around like that?
That's fine. I mean, it's something. If you play Bayonetta 2, it's very similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything drastically different. I mean, that's the only thing that's really different in that game is just the fact that you can just choose to do your side missions at any point versus where it's kind of locked you in. If you miss it, you miss it, type of thing. And so, like I said, I haven't played much of it, like 4 or 5 hours of it. I'm still going through. I'm only on the first level. Probably put 2 or 3 hours in the Star Ocean on PS5.
The new one?
It's really good. It runs like shit on performance mode.
On performance mode?
Not a performance.
Okay.
Fidelity mode. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, I put it on performance mode.
Oh, Cesar, you had us, man.
So it's on the because I started up on fidelity, and it's like you knew immediately when it started up, even after the patches, that the intro video skips.
Oh.
Like, and then when I was like, all right, fuck it. I just went in there and then you start watching the cutscenes with the characters and the in-game cutscenes, and they're not synced. The audio's not synced with the video. So I had to go in there and down it to for performance instead of fidelity.
Does it take a big hit on like the graphical quality? Can you tell?
I think it's not 4K. I think they were trying to do whatever. I don't know if it's checkerboard 4K. They need to go back and patch that game or something.
I feel like high frame rate and 1440p is kind of that sweet spot, right? I can't tell a difference like you can when Digital Foundry breaks it down and like zooms in on shit, but it's like I'm running around. It's a grassy field. I'm not looking at the blades of grass. They look fine. They're rendering fine.
Not the Dragon Quest 11 gate again, where we got the inferior grass on the definitive edition on PS4.
Yeah,
it was the port of the Switch version.
Right.
Everybody bitches.
And I've watched
the grass is different.
I've watched that video a couple times, and it's like, man, they're just impressed that it runs on the Switch. Like this is a competent copy of Dragon Quest.
Yeah. Don't get started. The grass gate is very similar to like
Puddle Gate.
That was the Altair games on PS4 or ports of the Switch games. And so somebody had went on there and compared the PS4 version to the native PS3 one, and it looks like it's night and day. The PS3 one looks better. They're like, how did you not get the PS3 one to run this on a Switch and then port it over? So like they downgraded it, got it on a Switch, and then took the downgraded version, ported it over to PS4. So you can tell really bad with the grass.
I appreciate this development.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was like, it was dedicated to like we're not gonna do anything extra and just port this shit over. But yeah, and the Star Ocean is pretty good. I mean, it's always been Tales of adjacent. This one takes a lot from, I think, a little bit from Xenoblade. You get it's not the Tales where they modernize it, where it's more like you still have the certain attacks on each square or whatever your top 3 buttons, square, triangle, or circle, which comes with different attacks that is on an AP system. So once you use it up, you have to wait for it to charge. But they introduced something called a DUMA in there, which is like a grid system. It's like some kind of robotic thing that helps you fly around in battle, and you use different break attack mechanics. It's something I would imagine being Xenoblade. I can tell like they took some Xenoblade-esque stuff and put it in this game.
I mean, it's a good thing to borrow from, right?
Yeah. So it's open world. Right now it's kind of linear because it's trying to get me to go with the story. So there's certain areas I can't explore because it's like blocked off with the red thing. Like you can't go here yet. You got to go to this point in the story before it opens up. Type situation.
Is it just like a red? Is it just like a red line on the map?
It's like, yeah, me trying to go down to a broken bathroom or something like that. They just put like a big sign there. It says like, nope, no entry. Like, and then I have to go really bad, and it's like fucking hell.
Did you write Cesar on the wall with your pee on the game?
Peeing in a cup and back out of the movie theater. But
I've done that before.
Yeah. Ditto. Yeah, so a couple of hours into it, I mean, the whole story is like you're Raymond, and you're like a merchant who's transporting some goods, and you get attacked by the Federation, and you crash land on a planet who has not had a development of civilization yet. They're still like stuck in the Middle Ages, so it's like you're taking the space age thing and going to a medieval fantasy type area, because they don't even know what spaceships are or anything like that. They're just not developed yet. So it's like they see that stuff, and he's explaining to them like, yeah, you guys probably won't see this stuff for another couple hundred years. You're not there yet. And I think they're considered off limits. They're not supposed to be on there.
That's cool,
because they're not supposed to interfere with their civilization. So I mean, you meet up with this princess who is trying to look for this shady person who works for not her kingdom but for the Empire. So you don't know too much. I don't know too much about the story. So she's teaming up with Raymond, who's trying to look for the rest of his crewmates that crash land on that planet. And he's already contacted his brother, who's supposed to be coming by with a spaceship and pick him up. So that's basically where the story is. It's probably like the first 2 or 3 hours. So it's not bad. I mean, I've enjoyed it outside of the performance issues. I mean, the battle system is pretty good. It's like I said, it's still Tales of adjacent, even
Tri-Ace games.
Yeah. I mean, they made Tales of games. So
art style looks good.
I like it a lot. Outside of that, I went to AWA last weekend with a friend of the show, Renee. Reason I'm bringing this up, that whole thing was a nightmare. But
what was bad?
The staff there was bare bones. so they didn't have enough people. So there's you literally us going around asking questions like, all right, where's the line for this? And everybody's like,
we don't know.
And like the lines are crossing all over the place, and I'm like, I'm not waiting here. So I'm like, it's crazy because I wait here and I could be in the wrong spot. So like legit, like there were some signings or something like that. There's some for some J-pop artists that were here, and I wanted to get one, but I was like, it literally like was blending into other lines for people going for other people, and I'm like, I could be waiting in the wrong person's line. Like there was nobody from staff like, hey, if you want to see this person, line up here. It was janky, man. This year was pretty bad because when I talked to one of my coworkers he goes every year. He said it was bad this year. He's like they did not have enough people, and I think there was 36,000 people there that weekend.
Ooh.
My gosh.
So it was packed. That hotel was packed because me and Renee were sitting in the pre-registration line. I think it was like 10 people. Like we were because we prepaid, and then we looked at the registration line, and it was like at least 200, 300 people going around that thing. I kept looking at Renee's like, I don't know if we're in the right line, man. This is too easy, man. I don't know if we're in the right line. He's like, no, man, we bought it online. It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like we're gonna get up there and we're gonna be like, nope, you got to be in that long ass line.
Go stand another 2 hours.
Yeah. So we're in the right line, so we got the shit because I had to show my my vaccine passport. Like, yeah, I took on my my vaccinations, and then Renee had to show his like negative COVID test, right. And then after that, they gave us the stuff, and after that, it wasn't too bad. So I spent a majority of the time in the dealer's room. I did want to bring up that for whatever reason, I was like, Renee, just pick something. And between him and Sylvester, they both decided to go watch Kingdom Hearts, a 20-year AMV retrospective. I'm like, why are we doing this? So it's like we legit walk into this big conference room.
There's no way. You just made that up, Cesar. You just made that up.
It's a legit thing. Like you should have came with us, man. Like there's so many random bullshit things. Like Renee wanted to go to a show that was dedicated to Arages, like Arages and blah 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 blah. And Renee's like, I want to do this one. I'm like, I was like, I don't know, man. It's just gonna be a bunch of dudes in a room talking about porno visual novels. I was like, this is weird, man.
Kingdom Hearts. A
20-year perspective of what they call anime music videos. So what they were doing was they're taking videos from like this thing was whole spoilers because this is like Kingdom Hearts mostly 2.8 and 3, and I'm sitting here, I don't know what the fuck's happening.
So I
was like, thanks Renee, you spoiled everything for me because I'm like, I don't know, I'm wondering what the fuck I'm looking at.
Right, because they're only gonna pick the most impactful cutscenes to add like Linkin Park to and stuff.
And they basically play music that was similar to like Linkin Park adjacent because they didn't have the licenses to do Linkin Park, but it was like Linkin Park adjacent, like emo-ish type stuff. Doors crying and stuff like that. I think the one that had Renee and Sylvester laughing the whole time was that they took it. They made a AMV that mirrored Avengers Infinity Wars trailer, where they had Xena Hart speaking like Thanos. It does put a smile on my face, and they laughed the lips and everything. And Renee was just in the corner crying. I was like, Renee, you cannot be doing that in here, man. Some people are taking it seriously. You got to get out of the room and stop laugh out there. I can't laugh in here, man. Like they were laughing so hard, I can't believe they did that, man. I'm like, you chose this. Why are we in here? But
oh my god,
that was just only 45 minutes of like the 12 hours like we were there. So I'm like,
God, that shit's funny.
There was a lot of moments like that, just random bullshit happening. So I did spend some time in the dealer's room. I got it over here. Hold on.
Show and tell. Wonder what exactly a dealer's room is. We're about to find out because Cesar got dealt something.
Yeah. So, me and Richard went before, like maybe a couple days before we went to was it Media Mania and looked at those consoles that were like $300.
We did.
So
I couldn't believe it.
You know what that Retro Psycho that I always told you that order from eBay? Mm-hmm. That it's that store location in Duluth. Yeah. They were there, so they had the full store location. That's all these games I bought was from them.
Oh, we've been wanting to like go out there to them.
So they don't have a store. So what they do is if you want a physical store, they only go to cons.
That seems like a good way to thin out some inventory. It's smart.
Yeah. So like they have way better deals because we were looking at GameCubes were like $300 at Media Mania. So they had GameCubes over there for $50, and then they had PS2s for like $80. They had Dreamcast, full Dreamcast for like $59.
That's great. So, like, these are great prices.
So yeah, everything was cut down. I'm gonna be quick because this is all visual aids, and this does nothing for anybody listening to the podcast.
So check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow, ring that bell.
I bought this one, which is like was it Toho, which is one of those like Play Doujin type things. That's This one has never been released in America. So a lot of stuff I bought was never released in America. Like I bought that. Bought Dragon Quest Monsters.
3DS.
3DS, Japanese 3DS, which they had to put a sign up there like, you have to have a Japanese 3DS to play these games. Please don't buy
Right.
these. And then...
Or a modded system.
Yep.
What's that,
And I
Brant?
bought like every version of like Tales that they had.
See, you sent me that Game Boy
the-
Color one. I didn't know there was a Tales for Game Boy Color.
Tales of Fantasia. Yeah, when I looked, I was like, "What the fuck is
How does
this?"
that
I had to
play?
sit there and it actually looks pretty fucking good, but it looks more turn-based and everything. It looks like Final Fantasy.
Okay, so they took that frantic like left to right stage of Tales games and made it interesting.
And then some visual novels, Love Plus, up my field.
DS.
What's that for? DS?
3DS.
3DS.
Is that a Konami game? What is
It is a Konami game. It is a Shoujo Konami game. A visual novel. They call it simulator. This game is weird. So this game originally came on DS, and it was called New Love Plus. Then it came out with New Love Plus Plus on 3DS. Then it came out with New Love Plus 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 on 3DS, which is like the final version with all the updates, and that's the butthole version that is expensive as hell. It's like $200 to get.
Whew.
This one will only cost me $22, and I'm just missing the plus. But whatever. So I'm like,
You're 3 pluses to us,
just-
sir.
yeah. So yeah, I went in and they had anything you could think of. It's like, Richard, you would have loved it because they actually had a whole section of anime laser discs. They had so many anime laser discs, so many. I've never seen so many anime laser discs before. Like
Affordable?
anything you could think of, they had it.
Really?
Yeah, they're like $10. Yeah, $8.
There's a couple I would get just to have on that format.
They had the Neon Genesis ones. I almost bought all of them. So I was like, those are hard to
I
find.
mean, you have access to a Laserdisc player, so you could have grabbed them.
They have anime music CDs. I mean,
Game soundtracks?
it's game soundtracks, records. They have anything you can think of that has anything Japan related. It was
It's
there.
probably
So I'm
it's
like,
probably good that I was not in the room of the dealers.
it was all import. You know, there was no American stuff there. It was all import, Japanese import stuff. So, yeah, that was it for me.
Sounds awesome.
That week. Yeah, the only thing was that I'm still kind of pissed about the whole Kingdom Hearts thing, but I was hoping Renee would be on here, but I guess he's not because that was his idea.
Retrospective.
20-year retrospective. And I told Renee after we got, I was like, thanks, Renee. I don't know what any of this shit's going on. Sylvester's like, yeah, man, I haven't gotten that far either. He's like, I think I don't remember which game he got to. The card based one, was it? No, 258 over.
No, that's Chain of Memories.
Not Chain of Memories. He said he skipped over that one. What was the other one? The 258 over 2 or something like that.
358 over 2 days.
Yeah, whatever.
On
man.
That's
3
the DS one.
I thought that was the 3DS
Yeah, he's-
one.
Yeah, that's 3DS.
He said he
No,
got
no,
Dream,
that's
that's
2DS.
dream drop distance.
Or
This is so stupid. Why are we trying to figure this out? It's so stupid.
I just let me be wrong.
Sure.
And stop trying to correct everybody.
Send your
themselves.
corrections to
I just-
Russell at nofodcast@gmail.com.
He stopped at one of those either because he's like, yeah, man, I don't know what happened in any of those videos too. I'm like, great, we're both spoiled. I'm like, so I was like, I don't know what was going on. I'm like, you guys should have been there. It's an experience because it's legit a college professor lady, probably about in her 60s, 61, 62, who's a huge Kingdom Hearts fan and was doing trivia. Like,
oh my god.
these are the only time these two characters talked ever, and it was referenced in the game, and it was like the two voice actresses for the characters, and they talked at the orchestra, the live orchestra, and apparently it was referenced in the fucking Kingdom Hearts 3 that they actually had a conversation. I'm like, what the fuck is
I
happening? man?
can't
It's
get
like,
into that series. It's never happening. I'll never get into that series.
people knew the answers, man. I don't know what was happening. I'm sitting there like, I have no idea. People knew the answers. They were like, oh, I know this answer. I'm like, somebody's deep in the lore of Kingdom Hearts. I was like, I can't even decipher half that shit. I stopped playing
Richard,
Birth by Sleep after I got 1/3 of the way through it. So I'm like,
I think you would enjoy the first and second game, honestly.
Those are the ones I
Those
have spent time with. So
Yeah.
yeah. If I'm ever tempted to, didn't they convince like the all-in-one package on PS4? Don't they turn some of those games into just like an FMV? Like, here, just consume the story this way. Yeah.
There's
the
literally
DS ones or something like that. The DS
And it
ones.
plays
It's outside of
it plays well on PS4, and I think they came at Xbox, right? Don't they play well in that last generation of? Yeah, that's the ones to go with.
Dude's on everything now. At this point, you can just cloud.
Oh yeah,
version
Cloud
too.
Kingdom Hearts on Switch.
Yeah.
That's cool, Cesar. I'm glad that AWA was that neat.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I wish I
think
had
I
the
have
paper
those.
with all the with all the panels they had on there. Because we did that one, and then Renee chose everything, man. I was like, dude, I don't care. Whatever you want to do. So,
Whatever direction you want to pull me in.
I remember some more stuff here I can talk about. So like we went to the Sailor Moon 30-year anniversary perspective.
Oh, Brant's got them all. Brant's got all the Kingdom Hearts.
And I don't know why Renee was big on the Sailor Moon thing, but we went into the Sailor Moon thing, and he was like, he could not stand it because there was some dude that was wearing a mask, understandable, but he had a thick accent with the mask. It was muffled, and Renee's looking at me, I don't know what he's saying. I'm like, I don't know, man, you chose this. I'm just sitting here because there's a seat, and I'm tired of walking around.
Right.
It was like, outside of that, the next room over was an arcade room.
Oh, what did they have in there?
And Brent mentioned like everything Konami related, everything that we never see. So it was like they had
the new stuff, like their new stuff.
Yeah. So like when you go into the room, there's a U-shaped table where they have people who were just playing Dragon Ball Fighters. Somebody was playing Dragon Ball Fighters on an arcade stick connected to a Steam Deck and was running pretty well to a TV.
My God.
Interesting.
So like most of them were PS4. And then there was like a big area down there that were playing DNF, another fighting game. And then around the corner, like surrounding the rest of the room, was a giant arc. Well, there was a Smash Brothers one, and they were all playing exclusively in Spanish. So I remember that.
Smash Hermanos de Smash.
Yeah, because I forgot what the name is for little or young Link in Spanish, and it was like I kept looking at it, and it was like that was his name in there.
Cesar, we got a bot in the chat.
Is it porn?
It's to find a hot girl here person.
Yeah. Oh man. And so surrounding the whole area the rest was like the Konami collection. So it was like Beat Mania, the drums and the guitar. Dance Dance Revolution with some actually updated music, which I didn't even know they still updated it. And then there was like a Dance Dance Revolution adjacent game, which was made by another company. And then they have like these weird like orb stuff where I've never seen it before. Like you have to it's like cell phones where you hit the buttons on the screen, but it's done with orbs. Which is also another Konami thing. It was like so many fucking Konami games. I was like, damn, this is where Konami's been out the whole time. It's like it's straight all arcade machine, music-based arcade games.
So we've been giving them shit, and they're like they're actually sitting on like the next DDR type thing, and just won't bring it to us, or Guitar Hero.
Yeah. I mean, because like the DDR they had on there had like legit, like it was like legit
recent tracks.
Like. Yeah, because like legit like music from VTubers. I'm like, it's within the last year or two. I'm like, I didn't even know they made stuff on there. But they always had somebody on there who was always like dancing like crazy. I was like, because we never went on there and played it, but there was always somebody like had to use the back bar and everything like that. And there was
this shit's going down when they're grabbing the back bar. Yeah, it's going.
They were all grabbing the back bar. I was like, yeah. I don't know what's happening, man. But yeah, the arcade room. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, we bounced around a lot, man, because they did. There's so much shit in there, dude.
Throwback for a second. Brant, did you ever go to what was that arcade in Fayetteville with friend of the show, Joel, and do DDR with him over there? They used to pay him to go over there and play.
Really?
What was it? Oh God, we're in Georgia. It's Dixie something. It was like Dixie.
Oh God, Dixieland.
Was it Dixieland? Like a small.
You don't want to see it, but yeah.
So like a small theme park, like they had like one like little roller coaster or something. They had a big arcade.
And then it changed to like Fun Zone and then Fun Spot, and now it's like something Fun Junction. They've changed the name so many damn times.
Man,
it's still there. It's just a different.
I would
name.
drive him out there. They would pay him to play DDR and attract people to the DDR machine. How come we don't have like new dance pads or anything? And nobody's released that we could have a Bluetooth dance pad. You used to dance on it and it would pull it away from the console and you had to have your system on the ground or something.
Yeah. Unless you had an Xbox and it just pulled it out.
The breakaway cable.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about all this. It made me just think of I saw somebody stream who literally they took requests on different ways to play Kingdom Hearts and they played Kingdom Hearts on a dance pad.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure.
Somebody had did something like that with beat
like one of the Souls games, right?
Yeah, Elden Ring or something like that on a dance pad recently.
Or a Guitar Hero guitar, you see them like they're fighting like
Yeah, I never seen Beat Mania like in person until I was there because that thing has like fucking 30 drum pads.
Yeah.
It's just drum pads everywhere. I'm like, I don't know how you play this game.
Yeah.
There's more drum pads on there than is on the Rock Band. But so whoever were there, man, it's like they were just waiting for this moment all their life. They're just in there plugging away. Like I'm like,
I still think
okay.
Rock Band, because that stuff's still so expensive, and they tried to do that Rock Band 4 like 7 or 8 years ago. If that had been like primed right before pandemic, when people were all at home looking for shit to do, when they were playing Animal Crossing and stuff, they would have sold a shit ton of Rock Band instruments or Guitar Hero or some sort of, but you know, manufacturing all that, turning around those plastic instruments and dance pads and stuff. I know that takes a while, so that they probably couldn't strike when it was hot, but that would have been prime time.
How long do you think before we see a Kickstarter for a brand new rock band guitar? Or
Surprised I haven't seen it by now.
I know.
Man. It's crazy.
We've got the VM2 and all these different peripherals for these retro consoles.
Or someone to meet you halfway, and like maybe you kickstart the PCB for existing, like there's all those PS3 guitars that are dead because you don't have a dongle. So maybe they print the PCBs for those, and then all of a sudden those have value, or you replace the PCB inside of a corded one or something like that, and refurbish some of these old instruments that are still flying. Because I see them all the time. I see that freaking PS3 guitar all the time, and it never has the dongle with it. It's like, this thing's useless. You cannot use this for shit. Because the dongle online is going to run you $70-$80.
All right, that's enough nonsense for me. I'll let you finish up.
Sorry, that was a great Atlanta touch that you added there.
Yeah.
I just wanted you all to suffer with me when I suffered on the Kingdom Hearts 20 years perspective anime music video. I don't know why Renee. We had literally just 4 or 5 different venues, and he's like, "I want to go to this one."
You let him pick.
Well, because I've been before. It's been a long time, but I was like, because Renee's never done any con before. I was like, all right, man, whatever you want to do, you guys. And same thing with Sylvester. Whatever you want to do, let's go. I've been to a couple. It's not about me. Y'all have fun. But Renee chose the one. I'm saying, all right, Renee, thanks.
Are they doing?
Choose the one. Oh, go ahead.
Are they doing DreamHack again? Me and you had a blast there. I thought it was awesome. And we weren't really even into Halo at that point, and that Halo tournament was fun.
When they played Halo
5. It was 5, right? That was fun. And then we got to play. We got the T-shirts from that Switch game.
Everything from was it High Res Studios?
Mm-hmm. The guy was whooping my ass and just.
Yeah, they're gonna be there November 18th to the 20th, same place.
Do we go? Maybe.
We can.
I don't think I'm doing anything that weekend. Maybe we go.
I can go.
Brant, you want to go down there with us?
What dates?
November 18th through the 20th is a Friday through Sunday.
We would just do we would go Saturday and go all day Saturday type thing. As Brant checks his calendar.
Say I have to. Where's my date?
Oh, those were birthday gifts one year, weren't they, Cesar? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got our picture taken with the PUBG guy with the shield and the frying pan.
So yeah, that is the weekend before I am taking vacation. So possibly we all go. That'd be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pencil that in. Watch me look at my calendar, and I'm hosed.
I'm already telling you I'm not doing shit, so we're good.
Cesar's clear. This is thrilling content, gentlemen, as we check our calendars.
So I also played a little bit of Overwatch with the family. Other than that, I did beat Silent Hill, Shattered Memories. The memories are no longer shattered.
You put them all together?
Well done. Well done.
Skip forward about a minute, I guess, because I'm about to spoil the ending if you really care. I know Renee's probably like, it's shit anyway, so...
I'm not here to bitch about it, because he would have been.
But going back and forth between, the psychiatrist's office and the gameplay, the surprise twist is Harry was dead the whole time. You're playing as Harry, but he was dead the whole time. And your daughter was the one that was actually in the therapy. So, the twist was it was kind of a bizarre twist, to be honest, and made the game just not make that much sense. But I mean, I did at least somewhat enjoy the gameplay. Um, like I said, I think I'll probably go and play the original at some point. Um, I'm trying to, with God of War coming out next week, I don't know how much I can really get into any one thing.
Brand, did you replay God of War? I beat it.
No, I did not.
I'm thinking about firing it up.
Right.
My hold up this whole time has been I didn't finish God of War 3, but I played like 3/4 of it. I'm just gonna watch what happens in the end and go to this one.
I mean, they kind of dress it in God of War, right?
Really?
2018.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like you figure it out. I mean,
Yeah.
they pretty much tell you what happens in the God of War 3. So
Yeah.
All right, maybe
I
I
was
just do
there.
that.
When y'all did it as a
A game club game.
club game.
I played the shit out of that. It was good.
oh god,
Oh,
God of
man.
War, man,
I
God
had
of War
to go and
2018
buy
is
it.
so fucking good, man. Yeah.
You
look
went
at
and
that.
bought it for the
Oh.
game club?
Yeah.
We should have had like an affiliate link or something.
Damn, Amazon.
Gotten
affiliate.
2 cents from Brant's purchase.
Richard's played God of War.
Yeah.
All the good stuff we're hearing about Ragnarok. I'm already ready. My body's ready.
Yeah, it's rave reviews across the board. They said the side content and all that is like their bread and butter. It said one review specifically that I read that hit me was not since The Witcher 3 have they played a game where like the side quest and the stuff that you wander into like off the beaten path is the bread and butter. Like it's the gravy stuff. That's
Don't want to
exciting.
take too much from Brant, but yes, if you're interested in mythologies, they do an even better job on this Norse mythology than they did on the Greek.
Yeah.
The Greek one, they kind of use it as like a backdrop for the game.
Like a loose
but they've
a
done
loose
it.
association.
There is so much like clarification on Norse mythology that I didn't even know. Like when I went through it again, Brant, I just realized, man, Odin's a dick, dude. Like based off all the mythology, I'm
Oh,
like, he's
yeah.
just a straight dick. And I'm like I'm used to watching Odin on like Thor. I'm like that Odin's not too bad, but like this Odin on that world is like him and Thor are just assholes. So I was like, it's bad, man. All right, Brant, sorry.
Brant's games.
Let's see. Other than that, I did get some light gun Saturn games as well as some light guns. Virtua Cop 1, 2, and House of the Dead.
Okay.
Not the shitty ass movie that Uwe Boll made
No.
that used footage from the game.
But those games are actually really, really, really good.
They are
All of them.
Mr. G.
The Saturn was such a arcade. It wasn't quite like the Dreamcast would get 1-to-1, but the Saturn was stock full of great arcade ports.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's still a little jank with some of like the polygons, and then there's those moments, especially in really more so House of the Dead than the Virtua Cop games, where you have those like loading points where it just kind of stalls the game, and you have to sit there as it just says loading, and then it kind of it really breaks, kind of takes you out of it. But still, for the time, it's amazing. And like you said, they're not quite arcade perfect, but they're pretty damn close.
At the time, that's what everybody was chasing at home, especially Sega. They were like, we're bringing the arcade home. And then the Dreamcast was like the Naomi board. It was that 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
When they brought that extra bit of a memory they can plug into the Saturn and made it arcade perfect. So
that's true. The 4 meg cart,
Yeah. And I did upgrade my pseudo Saturn Kai.
Is it just a new version of Kai?
It's just an updated version. And I had talked about how I was trying to play Croc a couple weeks ago on the Sega Saturn, and I told y'all that I had this weird glitch, and I thought it was the ROM. Well, it turns out after a little bit of research that for some reason that I had seen something about one of the updates in Pseudo Standard was supposed to help with bug fixes, and one of the things what it said is like fixes and glitches with Croc. I'm like, okay, so some of the old versions just don't play well with that game. So I updated it, put in the Croc disc again, and got the same weird glitches. And then as I'm reading again, I see that the early PAL versions of the game, and I guess some versions
In the
of
U.S.
the U.S.
Uh,
release had this horrible, terrifying glitch, which is what I was getting, where Croc basically has no head. The lava kind of glitches and makes this weird, trippy mess. You can't see a lot of the enemies, and I even found a tweet about it and sent it to y'all so you could see the headless
it
Croc.
was so bizarre. The Ben Drowned copy of Croc, you labeled it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
You've been met with a terrible fate. You've been playing Croc.
A burned copy of Croc.
upon doing more research, even people that have ODEs have problems emulating this game. And the fix for the physical game used to just be you'd start the Saturn up, let it go to the media player, pop the disc in, and start it there, and it would be fine. But with the ODEs and even pseudo Saturn, you boot up the Saturn, it just goes straight into those menus. So
Swap
somebody
trick.
was saying,
Get ready. Cesar's pretty good at the swap trick.
well, somebody was saying that you could, if you boot the game up, and after the initial boot, open the disk tray and let it go back to the menu and close it and boot it up again, that it would work. And
Interesting.
I just for the hell of it tried it, just to see if it would like kick out to the because I tried just going to the music disc, the media playing part, and it would always just boot it up like a CD.
Yeah.
So
It's so bizarre. Like what?
that wasn't working.
What in that compiler like is off so bad that those textures and stuff don't make it through there?
It's some kind of line of code that wasn't added to the Sega Saturn version.
Because this
and
doesn't happen on
just
PlayStation, right?
Totally messes up.
Yeah.
No.
Superior console.
They just made that game 20 years too early.
Sony better.
So, but I eventually did try it. I booted it up, opened the thing, opened the disc tray, and it just went back to the Sega, the pseudo Saturn menu. I was like, damn, it's probably not going to work. But I closed it, and it went into the game, booted up, and everything's fine.
That did it? Even with the pseudo
It's
Saturn?
like, holy
passing
shit,
through?
are you kidding me? It just worked.
Never turn that Never turn that Sega Saturn.
He hasn't.
Leave it on. Yeah.
I was already going to joke that you said you were going to pop the Croc disc in your Saturn like you ever took it out of the Saturn. It was still in there, wasn't it?
No, I had to pop because remember I played
That's
light
right.
gun games.
You
and then I had
updated
to
your
update
Kai.
Yeah.
Dedicated Croc machine.
And
Brent, you're doing the Lord's work
Other
trying to
than
get this to
that-
work, man. You're
other than that, I've been going down rabbit holes. Basically, might have to go to you because I started looking at all these different things, and I immediately thought of you because I'm looking at OSSCs and SCART cable
hell.
configurations, and because to get the best picture and I'm thinking about streaming from all these different older things, and I'm like, well, the easiest way would be to get it to convert to HDMI, and then how would I do that? And I started going down all those different things.
Retro
I'm like,
Tink, baby.
shit. I remember Richard talking
Retro
about all
Tink,
this.
baby.
Oh, and did you update your RetroTink yet, Richard?
I'm not taking it out of the box.
I just updated with the new VR, so
I got
playing PS3 on HDR and VR. And
I got to see how that works. Brent, you can actually borrow this one if you'd like. This is up to... No, it has component video. This is one of the first ones he made and released. This is the 2X. Before they came in, like, the newer...
5X flavor. Pro.
This is... It's Mike Chi, right? He's on Twitter as retro team at retro.
I just want him to do the 4K one so I can spend the $600.
It's expensive, and I just took this one out of the box. I probably looked at it one other time.
I mean, it looks good though with the Gran Turismo one and everything.
Yeah, it does. Brant, this one does have your SCART, and I've got one for the Saturn, but I don't know. You know, for our level of streaming, you're probably fine with just S video out of the Saturn.
Brant, just do what I did. Just do what I did and buy it, and then just do PayPal and 4, and it just takes it out every 2 weeks on my paycheck. So.
I did PayPal credit for mine, yeah. But this, Brant, if you ever want to mess around with it, this will get you going. And I've got the mini HDMI to HDMI right there, so that'll go in your capture card, and the buttons are over here on the side to click between your. This one does like line doubling, and that's your input selector on the 2X from 2018. But I've always told him, like on Twitter and stuff, I was like, I'll buy your products. You make dope stuff. Yeah, Brant, that's a wormhole, man. Are you really wanting to go down that? Is that something you're?
I don't know. It was a lot just looking at it.
What you can get SCART out of, and what you can get component out of, and
and then going down the SCART rabbit hole and sync on Luma versus Sync and shielded.
I know you know this channel, but the My Life in Gaming guys are kind of like the de facto. Yep. Great stuff. And it put me at ease because I backed down from the chase because I was like, yeah, for most things, this S video is going to do fine for me. And I also backed down, like my CRT that I keep set up is not a 480p one. And I was like, I would much rather have that interlaced signal going through there for these because that's how they looked until all the way up until we couldn't get those TVs anymore. So, yep, it's a 480p image is only like 2 or 3 consoles that really take advantage of it. I like the wild stuff like there's a PlayStation 1 game that plays in widescreen, plays in 16:9. There's crazy stuff out there like that you find with the aspect ratios. Join us, Brant. Get a retro tink. I think he sells one of the entry level ones, which are enough. I think he's got one of those that's fairly affordable and available usually. Maybe like a 2X Pro or something is what he calls it now. But that'll do your line doubling on your current ones if you wanted to capture that. You know where I got to, Brant, was running it from into a distribution amp so that I could still play on CRT, and then running it out of the line doubler into the capture card so I could still, because I wouldn't play on what it would put on the monitor here. I would play on the CRT. I did that with that baseball game I recorded. Join us. Is that it, Brant? Any other wormholes? As we all check our calendars.
No. That's it. Cesar sent us a photo of a lot of those games.
I forgot I took photos, and I just realized it when I.
Oh shit! What is the photos of? Describe for the listeners. I see nothing.
Retro Seco. It was that shop they had. That's how.
Oh shit! Look at all those box N64 games. Those are actually good deals because most of these are very import friendly. There's the Rumble Mario 64. Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I went over there, they actually dropped the prices on everything because they said the shot was smaller than it was last year, and they said they dropped the prices on everything. That's why everything was.
Pikmin 1 and 2 on GameCube, 30, 29, and 33 respectively.
Look at that Resident Evil 2 on the right-hand corner.
I see it down there.
It's still expensive.
I see Chibi Robo also for $43. I don't know how import friendly that is though. Banjo-Kazooie, you can play that. Mario Tennis, you can play that. All right, is that it for us this week? Anything else to add? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Adios.